So I know the last couple of videos I made had to do with TVs, and unfortunately today is going to be no different. It's just that there's a lot of TV shuffling going on in the house, and today my sister wants to mount her TV on her wall. So I thought I'd take you guys along with it. But this time around it's going to be more like a vlog, so even though the topic is the same as the last video, the style of the video will be completely different. If you're interested in seeing more of a tutorial style of video about how to mount a TV, check out my last video where I go through all the details of each step on how to mount a TV. The TV we're working with today is this 43-inch TCL TV. Pretty sure it's the same TV we have in our bedroom. My sister had it in her apartment and she brought it over, so we're gonna mount this one. Even though she brought the TV, she forgot to bring the remote, so she had to buy a brand new one from Amazon. So we're gonna have two remotes when she brings over the remote. The first order of business is to take out the stand, and it's one of those stands that has like two legs on two sides. And I'm pretty sure it's just these two screws on each of them. Okay, one of them's out. All right, the stands are out. That was pretty easy. Some TVs have like really weird stand mechanisms that are not very easy to put on or take off. I'm actually going to be using the same mounting hardware as I did on the last video. And I'm going to put all the links in the description because this one is a really affordable TV mount. And to be honest with you, for the price, you can't beat it. It's just that on this TV, it might be a little bit trickier than normal because of this little ledge over here. I gotta see how it fits onto the TV. No, actually, I think I'm gonna need to use some risers to put this bracket on, but that shouldn't be a problem. One thing we won't need this time around is this level. I'll show you why in a bit. I got a new toy. All the mounting screws and risers. One thing I didn't show last time is that this bracket actually comes with a free HDMI cable, so that's a bonus. Let's put the bracket together first. Now if you're using a drill for this stuff, make sure to set the torque right because you don't want to strip the screws. Okay, I think that's it. So now time to figure out how to put this bracket onto the TV itself because I'm gonna need some risers. Thankfully it comes with a bunch of them. The only thing is I gotta figure out which screws to use with each of these. There's a whole pack of screws too, so I'm sure I can mix and match and find the right ones. Or maybe I should just read the manual. And I'm gonna try this screw to see if it fits. Nope, that's too big. Must be these smaller ones. Yep, looks like this is it. So I gotta figure out which risers to use now. Now this part specifically says not to use a drill. This TV's VESA mount thing isn't as wide as the other ones, so it's a very narrow rail when it comes to putting it onto the bracket. Let me just see if it fits. Oh, there's another tricky part to it. You can't really put it in the middle because this little part here is actually wider than this little opening, so I'm gonna have to do it like a bit to the side. Yeah, that's exactly what happened in our bedroom too when I was setting up that TV, so yeah, it is what it is. So right now I just gotta do some measurements to see exactly how to align it on the wall because I have to make sure the bracket is placed so that the TV is centered, but the bracket itself can't be centered because the TV isn't gonna go on the center of the bracket. So the bracket has to be roughly 4 inches off from the center, so I just gotta mount it based on that. So my sister actually marked the wall with these painter's tape to indicate where she wants it, and based on the measurements that I did, I have to make sure the center of the bracket is 24 inches from the leftmost part, so that would be roughly here. Also, it has to be 4 inches above from the bottom. So this spot here has to be the bottom center of the bracket, so now I gotta figure out where the studs are. Last week when we were cleaning our closet up, we found this extra stud finder, so I'm gonna use this just to verify because I know this one's good. It's just that with studs you kind of just have to trust your stud finder, and if you can get the same result with 2 of them, then you know you got the right spot. I can get this straight at least. I gotta figure out exactly where to drill. If this is the bottom center, then we would probably want to drill roughly here and here for the bottom parts, and here for the top parts. I think the drill bit I'm gonna need is this one right here, unless if they change the size of the screws. So let me look at the manual just in case. Yep, that's it. Okay, so for sure there's a stud here. And this is where you just pray and hope that the stud finder was correct. Yep. I don't need to make the hole too deep because the screws will actually go into the stud, so even a small hole is good enough. Now, this is the part where it's going to be tricky. I have to make sure that this one is completely level with this hole, otherwise the bracket is not going to be balanced. And for this, I got a new tool, so let me set that up. I actually need a tripod for this, but I have this light stand that I'm gonna use. That should do the trick. So the new tool I got is this laser level thing, which if I put on that tripod over there, it's gonna make a laser line that's like completely straight. And based on that, I can actually drill the second hole without having to worry about whether it's level. It actually has a 1/4 inch thread at the bottom, which works perfectly with tripod and other photo gear, so works for me. The light stand is good because it goes up really high. So theoretically, when I turn it on, there, it will level. Oh, that's actually perfect height. Normally I would have to adjust the height of this to make sure it aligns with that first hole, but somehow, sheer luck, I got it like perfectly straight. Yeah, that's as straight as it's gonna be. All right, once again, let's pray that the stud finder was actually correct. Yep, there was a stud in there. All right, that should be enough. I really like this thing. It's perfect for hanging anything in the wall, like whether it's paintings or decors. I'm gonna put a link to this in the description as well. It was only around like $38, which is actually a really good deal for what it does. I'm gonna take off the painter's tape from here because sometimes I forget to do that. All right, so now I gotta use these massive screws to mount the bracket inside. I only have 2 of the holes so far, and I'm gonna put the bracket on there on those 2 holes. And then after that, I'm gonna drill the rest of the holes once I have the bracket, I guess, just hanging there. And for this step, you're gonna need a torque wrench because these screws, I mean, although it has a Phillips head, you can't really screw it with a drill. You gotta use a torque wrench. In terms of the actual bit for the torque wrench, it's this 1/2 inch one that you're gonna need. It fits perfect on these screws, so. I'm not gonna fully tighten it just yet. Once I'm ready to put all 4 screws in, that's when I'm gonna tighten it all. But for the time being, I'm just gonna put them as placeholders. And the good thing about this bracket is that you still got a bit of flexibility even after you've drilled the holes on whether you wanna move it a little bit to the left or right. And you can always adjust a little bit. So that should be a good placeholder for me to drill the other 2 holes. Okay, I think that's pretty secure. This TV is not even that heavy, so either way it should be fine. Now, with the mount being on the wall right now, I can technically hang the TV there, but I want to do concealed cabling here, just like I do on all my TVs. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky here, because this wall is partially an exterior wall and partially it's an interior wall. So I don't know if there's insulation behind the drywall for the entire wall or part of it or what the situation is. If you look outside, you could see that part of this wall, I don't know how good you can see this, part of this wall is on the outside. And part of it down there is against another room, so I'm hoping it's hollow. But either way, as long as there's no fire blocks along the way, it should be okay. Like, fire blocks are those horizontal studs, and those can be pretty devastating if you're trying to run cables. I feel like the more I go towards this way, I'll have better luck, because that's likely to be an interior wall than that way. Yeah, I'm not 100% confident what's behind here. I'm getting some signal there, but it's not like an actual stud. Maybe it's just like deeper in there. Anyways, I'm just gonna gamble. I'm gonna use this wire management kit, the same one that I used in the last video. This thing was much easier than the other ones I used to use, so I'm gonna stick with it. So it actually comes with this drill bit, this hole saw bit actually. I'm gonna save this one because I actually have the one from last time. I'm just gonna use that one. Okay, so roughly around here. Okay, looks like it is an interior wall, so it's hollow in there. Now the question is, does it go all the way down? The one thing about this hole saw bit is that this drywall piece gets stuck in there and I gotta use like a knife or something to stick it out. So be right back. Now, before I drill the bottom hole, I just wanna make sure that there's no obstruction. So this fishing rod, or more like fishing tape, yeah, I think we should be good to go. Now this one, you just gotta make sure it aligns vertically and also aligns horizontally with any existing plates, which is this power outlet here. I hope I got the camera angled correctly. All right, so this is the piece that goes down. So I should be able to put this through here and catch it from the bottom. Yep, there we go. That's a relief because that's the most nerve-wracking part about this process, making sure there's no fire blocks. All right, so the question is, do I want to run a HDMI cable? Sure, why not, I guess, right? Because they give one for free, so I should just run it. Now, the good thing about this TCL TV is that it actually has Roku built in, so I don't think my sister plans on plugging anything into the HDMI ports, but you never know. I'm trying to encourage her to get a PS5, so in case that happens, she'll be ready. Oh, there it is. Yeah, this is really short, but whatever. Should be fine. Now, this thing is another step that I gotta use like a screwdriver for, but I'm just gonna use the drill. So these 3 screws should tighten it. Now I gotta make sure to have the torque right. Don't wanna break the screws. Now I gotta do something similar in the bottom, but the bottom part, you actually have to insert this little, I guess this little bracket. But first I gotta remove these screws. I'm gonna put links to all of these in the description because this thing truly is a game changer compared to the other one I had, and I highly recommend it. And then now this face plate goes right on top of it and it just clicks right in. Now I can just plug the TV directly into the outlet, but in case I want to add more devices, I'm just going to use the small power strip. All right, time to hang this TV. Now normally I'd be using someone's help to hang this, but this TV is light enough that I can hang it myself, I think. All right, I'm gonna plug in this one HDMI cable over here and then pull in the slack on this side. And where's the power? Oh, I forgot to plug in the power cable, which is on this side. Oh, thankfully it's easily accessible. Now all I gotta do is hide all the cabling in the back. So just put it over here. I gotta hide these 2 little pull strings. Now these are what we'll need to pull off the TV from the wall. So if I pull this, I could lift it and then lift it up. So you gotta make sure that these are still accessible, but you gotta hide them. I'm just gonna use some painter's tape to hide these little pull strings. Now the moment of truth. This extension cable, it comes with the little cable organizer there. And what I'm supposed to do is plug in one end to this cable organizer thingy and then plug the other end into an active power outlet. And looks like the TV's blinking, so we got power. Now in order to power this TV on, we gotta make sure that this remote that she got off of Amazon is actually for this TV. Oh, looks like I need some AAA batteries. Okay, be right back. Batteries, and time to find out if it works. I saw a blink. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So now we have a fully working TV mounted on the wall with no cables dangling. And once we find a small furniture to put at the bottom to hide the cabling at the bottom, then we're all set. So that wasn't so hard, right? And literally it costed maybe less than $100 for the parts. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I promise there's gonna be some non-TV related videos coming up, so there's gonna be a bit of variety down the road, so stay tuned. Anyways, I hope you're all staying safe and I'll see you again on the next one.